There we go.
All right.
And we're live. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the best place to do it, but it's easier to find when it's at the beginning.
Right at the beginning, yeah. Instead of having to dig for it at the end, right?
Right.
So yeah, you use that to balance the audio for when the stuff gets sweetened for the podcast, right?
Right.
Or the audio.
Yeah, to take out kind of the any noise from the fan on the PC or lights or anything on the audio. Yeah, so that's why we have that little 30 seconds. But
30 seconds ain't that little.
Yeah.
In airtime, no, it's not that little.
It's quite a while. So how's it going?
Yeah, all right, thanks. Just sort of raining on my way over.
Oh,
Luckily, I had a very small umbrella. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's the rainy season here,
Is
so
it?
yeah, we're getting all kinds of nonsense. We just had a typhoon miss us.
Oh,
so I think
it did miss us. Yeah.
I think that's what this rain is the kind of tail, and it kind of drags stuff along with it. So we're getting rain for the next couple of days, and probably a big temperature jump. So
yeah, it is a lot cooler. Anyway, so
cool.
How are you?
Good. Oh, Calerian just said in the chat, last week's Dune was so good. Yeah, we had a crazy... So we're kind of at a stopping point. I think we have to kind of consider... Because we have to take a week off because one of the players is out. Okay. But the whole scheme... So it turns out that the heiress of the house... I'll spoil anything if anyone hasn't listened. But the heiress of the house had kind of allied herself with the Harkonnen and was going to marry like a nephew and bring him back and kind of assert her place with her murdered grandfather, Agula of her murdered grandfather. So she turned out a bit sinister, and so there was this elaborate plan to poison her and her fiance on the ship on the return. And unfortunately, they forgot to fill in the swordmaster of the house, who is sworn to protect her. And so once all of this, the alarms went off and everything, he was able to, with this insane roll and the help of the doctor, pull her out of the room and save her.
So it was kind of like poison gas thing.
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Yes. So she is alive, and they're have to go back now and kind of sort out where. Yeah. So they left things at a really great point. I think the characters were really frustrated because they spent almost 2 sessions planning this. Like, what are we going to do? Because they were kind of holding back. We can't do anything because they were on Gidi Prime to save her. Okay. And then she revealed all of her plans. They're like, okay, I guess we'll go back with you. And
was it sort of one of those things like Conan-esque where, well, you're going to die anyway, so it doesn't matter that I tell you the plans now, kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah. So they were contemplating: should we make our move now? We're going to a dinner? Are we going to poison everybody? What are we going to do?
Everybody.
Yeah,
wow. Okay.
Yeah. So there was a lot of scheming going on, and they decided the safest place with the most protection would be aboard our ship. And unfortunately, all 3 players weren't in on the plan.
It was a player.
It was a player character.
Oh my!
Yeah, playing and the character like, you guys didn't tell me anything about this. I'm going to save her, and they're like, no.
Yeah. Okay, like that's metagaming gets a bad rap, but like, actually, no, that's not metagaming, right? Because it's
kind of narrative. Yeah,
it's using your character, the knowledge that only your character has, despite the player knowing something different.
Right.
But I think that's it sounds like what the player did is like, you didn't tell me any of this.
Yeah, they were kind of keeping it away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Therefore, out of curiosity, did the player check? Like the player obviously announced their intentions, right? You didn't tell me about this, therefore I am going to proceed with this thing that my character would do and do this, right? Like, did they kind of give the option for like a discussion?
No, that was at that. No, it was
okay.
It was pretty much at that point. Oh wait, okay. So I'm hearing alarms, and it's the heiress that's in trouble. My duty, and because you do have your characters have duties and kind of motives, like an ambition that they follow. And so his big motivation is her protection and the kind of unraveling of what happened to the death of the Duke and the unraveling of the house's rulers. And so it was really great. And the fun thing I think with this group that they've done well through all of the games is when there is like with Blade Runner or something where there's information you can share and information you can keep to yourself. When they're hearing something they're not supposed to hear, they play their character without that knowledge very well. So I think that's made Blade Runner especially fun. Is how they've how one of the replicant Blade Runners deals with replicants and then turns around and says, "Oh, that guy's crazy. Don't talk to him." So the kind of hidden information has worked really well because we have to we've kind of had to do that with Dune as well. Is like, okay, yeah, there would be radios and you can communicate.
So it's like a choice, though.
Yeah, yeah, right? and you can decide. Yeah, you're not going to let the character in on it, and they play. It's really and because you have like power and duty as these values, then duty to the house. If that's a very high value, then it's like I can't. I mean, I don't have the capability of betraying my.
Nice.
Yeah, so very fun. So thank you, Galerion, for hanging out. So yeah, we're gonna figure out. So we'll probably do the beta or the little quick start for Outgunned Adventure week after next.
Cool.
And then figure out if we'll return to Dune or not, and if we're gonna do a time jump because we might.
It's Dune time jump.
Yeah, so we can kind of jump ahead and move things forward a little bit, which might be fun because that'll set things that have already been hinted at. They'll get more complicated. Nice. And also give the house a chance to maybe raise its status and things. So interesting. All right, but yeah, thanks for sorry if anybody was like looking forward to listening to that. But just by the time I get it edited, you'll have forgotten anyhow, so it'll be all new. That's when I go back and edit some of the actual plays. I'm just like, oh yeah, that's right. This was fun. I forgot this happened. There's a lot of a little bit of time makes a lot of difference. All right, so should we get started for this week?
Set.
Oh, and a detail. I don't know if Carolina is in the chat, but I put in the. I think it's in the information for the video. Oh, hey, Matt. How's it going? There is a Redbubble shop with the come for the banter, stay for the ramble shirt design there. So thank you, Carolina, for the donation last week. And the shirt is available now. Unfortunately, Redbubble is not something you can sync. They have the best quality, like in the US, they're one of the best quality shops for producing the print-on-demand goods, but you can't link them to YouTube. So we'll set up one that's YouTube approved and upload those same designs. And there's also one in Japan too. So anybody that listens to this that is domestic to Japan will have a Japanese and then maybe a US. I guess that'll probably be more international. Right. But there's a Japan-only link soon for all kinds of fun. Yeah, so it's very limited what we're able to... So we'll have those little thumbnails under the videos of our T-shirts.
Fancy.
Mouse pads and whatever other craziness. So let's get started for this week.
Get it all out. Yep.
Yes. Welcome to the Weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Chris.
And this week on the Weekly, Andy Chambers writing for Konflikt 47. Endless Horrors from Between the Stars.
That sounds good.
Yes, that's Forbidden Psalm.
Yep.
Yeah. Warlord Games by Button Shy Games. And Mork Borg action figures. Severed Toys, yes, is doing this. It was a surprise. It's kind of one of those things. If you've got the money, it's a funny thing, but it's one of those collectors options. So let's start with the news from Warlord Games. So and Andy Chambers was just announced to head up the Konflikt 47 writing and development team at Warlord Games.
So is that? Do we know if that's rules or just kind of everything?
Everything, yeah. I was really surprised because, and I didn't know that. I've seen his name in Black Library books, but I didn't know he's been involved with. So he's going to be signed a contract as a writer and developer with Warlord, and of course he's worked on Blood Red Skies, Judge Dredd, Warhammer 40k, Warhammer Fantasy Battles, Necromunda, and Battlefleet Gothic, and also several novels in the Black Library. So he will be developing and guiding the evolving in-game universe, including rules and background. So that's great. That's a huge announcement, and I think now that the Horus Heresy is over, that book series is basically over. And Games Workshop sucks at moving their narrative forward. I think
so. They're going to move it back.
Yeah, no, but I think then they're also looking for kind of dog food, low kind of scab writers. They've been doing these like writing contests and stuff. So they're looking for low pay, low reputation writers to churn out this garbage.
Well, it's probably because we don't have to pay them very much.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the opportunity now for Mantic and Warlord and everybody that makes that needs to develop a universe to snag one of these writers that can help them flesh things out, write compelling novels, and kind of move their stuff forward. Because I think there's opportunity there. I think there's paychecks that.
I think you're right, but do you think that the non-Games Workshop companies like Mantic and other places have the resources to pay them?
Yeah, it would be a big expense, but I really think it'll be worth it to develop the universes, because the way that they're going, and I guess if they're happy with kind of, the light kind of not very developed backgrounds that they're doing for some of their properties, it's fine. But that's what really gets people locked in with 40K and BattleTech and things, is having a lot of fiction out there and having a lore that you can kind of keep rolling on in your brain, while you're building your models and listening to audiobooks and stuff.
No, I'm absolutely not disagreeing. Mm-hmm. My pause was, and I'm gotten a bit off track, but still related. I wonder if there are two extremes, because yes, I agree. I hate that word lore, right? Mm-hmm. Having a developed setting that you can have novels and fiction and it's the same thing, and all this stuff written about, and it's another way for people to interact with your IP, mm-hmm. just outside of the war game. You will get devotees, right? I wonder if going the other way also gets devotees. Things like model agnostic games. I mean, mm-hmm. It can't have a setting,
right?
But that allows you to plug in your own setting. And actually, like I was thinking Frostgrave and Stargrave, but there are Frostgrave novels.
Yes, that's true.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
they do have fiction.
There's enough of a setting there, but I don't know. I wonder if those two extremes hold people, or if a well-developed setting or a thoroughly developed setting is just much more dominant.
Right, and I think, because 40K's kind of always done that. They have their like set lore and they have the heresy, but then if you're playing in the 41st millennium, you can play as one of the kind of successor chapters of, and possibly even a lost chapter. Like you can kind of originally kind of make up what your chapter of Space Marines is, and I'm sure that goes with the other factions as well. So they once upon a time, I think they left that very open. I don't know if that's so much the case anymore. It seems like now they want you to very much say which color paint are you painting? Just because it doesn't seem that I don't know that I guess serves to get people devoted, but at the same time, then it opens all the lore arguments.
It does, and that's what I was thinking too, right? Yes, like having. Using Space Marines as an example, right? Like, make whatever chapter you want, right? We leave it kind of open. Cool, we can't write books about that, mm-hmm, right? Mm-hmm. Or like it's just going to be like a new chapter, and
right.
But having that developed setting with like established characters and factions and all that stuff like does leave you open to like the lore problems, mm-hmm, right? Mm-hmm. Where like people are like, no, that's not correct, blah, 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 like the arguments, or like kind of the analysis paralysis I have during. Or in RPGs that have a very defined setting where I'm like, well, these events are canon. They have happened. How do we play around that? Right. And if we just kind of go to like the edge of the universe where none of that's happened, are we really still playing that game? Right. But
yes, I'm very grateful that Brian Herbert fucked up his father's story, the chronology and everything, because that's given me lots of freedom in Dune. But I understand what you're saying. It's a tricky thing, but I think like having capable authors that can write really evocative fiction that like bring you into it, because that really changed my thinking. Like reading a few of the Horus Heresy novels.
First three Horus Heresy books are really good.
Yeah, that really changed my opinion of that setting, because it just cosmetically it looks very pastiche and there's like stealing from everything. But when you start to dig in, and especially what they did with a lot of the Siege of Terra books, there are some really compelling storylines and kind of narrative arcs within that only capable writers can do. So if you just like do it on the cheap and just like, oh yeah, the guy that repairs the copy machine, I think he writes, like you gotta really put some money behind it. So
hey man, don't talk right now.
but I think that's it's interesting. I hope this happens more, and I'm curious if this affects, what this effect will have, and we'll see. I mean, I think Konflikt 47 will definitely be changing. So Chambers himself says about this contract, I'm absolutely thrilled to be returning to the weird World War II setting once more. It's always been a great inspiration for me, and I'm looking forward to pushing forward the Konflikt 47 universe, particularly ramping up that weird factor. Of many plans for the universe, and I'm in the process of pulling together a fantastic team to help me. I hope to be able to reveal some of them to you over the coming months. Many thanks to Warlord for the opportunity and the members of the Konflikt 47 community. I've already spoken to for your insights. Big plans are afoot. I'm certain you'll like them. And then they talk to various members of Warlord that are happy as heck to have. And so Conflict 47. So I never got into Conflict 47 because unfortunately I was sidelined by Dust. I went into, and that's very similar. So it was hard to like kind of duel Weird World War. But it's a Rift Tech infused genetic monstrosities, towering walkers, and a host of weapons of unparalleled destruction. So that kind of like they discovered something that kept the war going and powered the armies beyond. So if you're curious about getting into this game, Warlord, perfect timing, has just started doing their start collecting bundles, which include models, dice, tokens, and a rule book, and of course one of the army's signature walkers, and as an added bonus, an armored officer team. So they have their factions are Germany, the US, Britain, Soviet Union, and Japan. So it'll be fun to see what they do with that, and if you can do something different, because that's been a few companies have taken a whack at kind of Weird World War stuff and Weird World Cthulhu, and we've seen a lot of takes on this, and like you said, can they avoid the?
My opinion, you can't. As soon as you call it Weird War 2 or Weird War 1, you're just like, okay, it's the like you can't avoid any of the baggage that comes with that. So I think the only thing you can do is like acknowledge it and kind of like be respectful. I don't know if respectful is the right word, but like don't make any horrible blunders, right? Right.
And don't lean into the really edgelordy kind of provocative crap just because you can. Yes. Anyhow, and talking about endless horrors and other gods, Forbidden Psalm has a new, I guess, expansion or kind of supplement out. So Endless Horrors from Between the Stars is a game that allows you to summon a million cosmic horrors. So this is a setting for Forbidden Psalm where you can play as a cult trying to end the world. So you're playing as good guys instead of confused or morally ambiguous guys in a hellish world. You definitely are the bad guys, and you want things to end. Well, I guess it depends on your opinion about ending the world.
I mean, I think you are. I was being a jerk. Yeah.
Can your cult summon its own endless horror? So evil cults have decided that the world needs to end, and the thing between the stars should come forth and take this world and make it anew. So this is a game of cosmic horror, body horror, and playing as the bad guys.
Oh, well, it says it right there. Okay.
Yes. Yes. And just like other versions of Forbidden Psalm and settings, this is all compatible with Mork BORG TTRPG, previous Forbidden Psalm, The Last War, and then Kill Sample Process and Dread Knights. So you've got a lot of content and a lot of ways to play. So if you haven't heard, Forbidden Psalm is the miniature skirmish game that kind of spawned from Mork BORG, and it's a 28 millimeter miniature agnostic game. And what this book gives you is random tables to help you determine how to build your group of cultists, and then a insane amount of tables to help you create
over a million.
Yes, your endless horror. Yes. So you can play this solo or co-op, and then everything that you generate is compatible because it's the same stat lines with the TTRPG. So you got 5 zealous souls to undertake their call for their very own endless horror. So yes, you have 3 D100 tables that provide up to 1 million possible horrors. So it can get pretty. And for random tables, they do them really well. Both Mork BORG and Forbidden Psalm, it's fun. Like name generation and stuff has been really. It's not just like, oh, okay, you don't get disappointing results. You get really fun.
Well, you get disappointing. Sometimes they're just still interesting, right?
Interestingly disappointing.
Which reminds me, I was still going to just completely randomize my Forbidden Psalm warband. I haven't had a chance to do that, but sometimes you're just like, all right, and
yes, the straight rolls. But it makes them interesting, and then how they play on the table, then how your rolls come out on the table are very funny, because if you have someone that's very fearful or whatever, and that never triggers, you're like, wow, I guess he found his bravery. So it's 160 pages of cosmic horror, and they also provide era specific weapon and equipments lists, so you can play in kind of any time period that you want. So new monsters to add to all of your games, a full narrative campaign, rules for playing as the good guys as well, in case you don't want to bring the end of the world. Rules for setting up your own campaign in different time periods, solo, co-op, and versus rules for your preferred numbers, and also They're adding rules for playing as the cult leader or playing as investigators, which I guess would be the good guys.
Yep.
Yeah. So you get that, and I like this as they're doing this as well. You can get it as a PDF with a digital-only pledge, a softcover book, or a hardcover book, because the price jumps pretty considerably. Right. And if you just want to have something physical at the table, it's nice that they give you a softcover option. And if you go with any of the physical pledges, you'll have your name in the book as a cultist.
Oh,
so yeah, and it looks like they're doing fun stuff with that, and that's going to be. And they also I liked on the Kickstarter because it is miniatures agnostic. Still, people that if they're new to this or not very aware, if they only know a couple of companies, they give you some suggestions and showed you some really nice painted examples of the Warlord Games sculpts of kind of mutated cultists. Wargames Atlantic Digital has some really good cultist models, and Anvil Industries has nice multi-part kits. And also Ve Victis. They showed some really, really great examples from those companies. So they give you a good starting point. And I think all of those companies are definitely worth supporting. They do good stuff.
No, I saw that. It was good on the website. They said, okay, miniatures agnostic, but here are some good starting places.
Yeah. I like that a lot. Yeah, so, and this is, of course, Will Rahman, the writing, design, and development, layout, and art, and Roz Leahy, copy editing and proofreading. Debbie's doing the warehousing, and Jert is doing the editing, and Vil is the artist on the Endless Horror book. So that's going to be digital through Drive-Thru RPG, and then the physical books will be through Space Penguin Inc. and Weird Designs. So that's all going to be through Backer Kit will be the fulfillment, but it's on Kickstarter at this time. So I will put that link in the description if you want to check that out. And so they plan to start physical shipments by January of next year, digital fulfillment by September of this year. So Backer Kit will be August. So pretty quick, yeah. And this is their 7th.
Wow.
Yeah, this is his 7th rodeo. So Will has done a considerable number, and I've gotten everything in a timely manner. They haven't had big delays. This is no mothership kind of debacle, even though they're working with some of the same people. But they've been Will Rahman's done some really good projects, and everything's come through really nice quality. And we've got we already got our Forbidden Psalms.
Yep, we did. Yep.
Yeah, and there are even stamps on the boxes and stuff.
Yeah, I saw that too. It was a shame to throw away the box. I know. But I knew exactly what had showed up because so many times I get the slip, it's overseas. I'm like, I have no idea what's in the box showed up. I'm like, Forbidden Psalm because there's the stamp right there. Yeah, I like when they do that. Very nice. All right. So this was something, I'm sure you know about this, but I thought of you right away. Oh, thanks. Yeah. Something good, I hope.
Yes. So it was horrible. It was like, the world is, and Chris is to blame.
Yep.
No, this came about in a weird way because at first I was like, PU, why is this IP still alive? But I was scrolling around and saw this ad for The Walking Dead Surrounded.
I saw this as well.
And I'm like, why is somebody making a Walking Dead game? Yep. And then I'm like, wait, this is a wallet-sized tiny card game. Mm-hmm. And then I followed the link to who was producing it, and it was Button Shy Games. Yep. And so I wasn't aware of this at all. And this really, if you're interested in this sort of design challenge and this kind of scale of game, I think this is somebody you should take a look at and is definitely worth supporting. So Button Shy Games is a small board game publisher. It's Jason Tagmeer and some family in the UK, and they have a small group working in New Jersey. And what they produce are wallet games. And a wallet game is an 18-card pocket-sized game. So these are a small vinyl wallet with a playing card-sized cards. And depending on what they need, can be two-sided or however they work. But that's the base set of any game. That's the design kind of parameters. So they're portable, durable, and great to have on the go. A couple of their their most popular games are Scrollopolis, Tussie Mussy, and Skulls of Sedlec. And,
none of which I have.
Oh, yes.
The wallet, Button Shy games that I have are Rove. Mm-hmm. And all the expansions, and I recently just backed Aqua Rove and Rove Junior, and I think Battle Crest.
Oh yes.
Which, as someone who is always interested in how small can you make a game, or working with a set number of components, I'm like, every game is just 18 poker-sized cards, right? And Rove is a kind of spatial puzzle game. Where you're trying to manipulate a number of cards into a set configuration.
Nice.
Battle Crest is like a skirmish game where a card represents your character, and they did a pretty interesting kind of like imaginary grid for placement of like you actually have like a battlefield, based on how some of the terrain is. Like, as someone who's constantly trying to make little tactical war games, I'm like, how could I not at least try this? Yes. So yeah, I like the design parameters of it's got to be 18 cards, no more, no less, because 18 cards are the number of cards that come on a printed sheet when you're manufacturing it, like this little plastic wallet that's the size of a wallet, right? That folds in half. So I really like them.
Yeah, it's a really great idea, and I think if you're interested at all, definitely a company worth supporting. And they emphasize these games are hand assembled, and until they get to a ridiculous popularity that they can't handle that anymore, they really want to keep that going, because this is a labor of love. It's also a very personal thing that these are like hand assembled and given to you from not a machine or just cranked out by who knows, questionably paid workers. And the other interesting thing that they're doing is they have a Patreon. So they're Board Game of the Month Club. So a new wallet game. They produce a new wallet game every month. So that means they produce 12 in a year, and they kickstart many of them to support the production of them. And so I think something like Walking Dead Surrounded probably had to get some sort of, because they have to pay for a license. So they had to have some extra funding. But the tiers are very interesting on their Patreon. For $3, you can get print and play of everything they do. $5, you don't get anything monthly, but you get a big box of stuff once a year from what they're producing. Nice. And then for $18 a month, they send you the latest game every month. And each one of those tiers has also a discount on their store to buy previously published and produced games. So really worth supporting, especially if you have the capability to print stuff well, just the minimal level to support them and just get to see what they're up to, I think is well worth it. So the Walking Dead Surrounded, of course, is based on the comic, which became an AMC show, and but it had an interesting, because it's characters and locations, and so it's a co-op game, and you're kind of like uncovering locations, and there's of course zombies, but there's supplies you need to scavenge, and there's also recruiting new members. So it seems like they've used that limit to do an interesting. And I think there's already an expansion as well. So when the expansions come out, they're 4-card expansions, and so then what they'll do, if enough expansions are done, they'll put them together. So you get all expansions in a second set. So I think they're up to 4 expansions, like 16 cards in an expansion collection. And and so that means that basically a game is $12 and expansions are about $5 US, and so it's a very affordable way to try out these little, and the fact that they're producing them, and then the quality, you would say,
yeah. I mean, like, they are nice. Okay, it's kind of like that fake plasticky leather kind of like for the wallet, right? But the cards, I mean, they're nice. They have that. They must have like a UV finish, because they're not going to chip or scratch. And I think they even have like the linen texture. So they're nice. They're durable. Yeah,
excellent. Yeah, so I'll put a link to their shop, and then that'll get you to their Patreon as well. And well worth checking out. I think operations like this need support, and I think, because they produce so many games, you should be submitting to these folks.
If I had an ideas that worked, I would be, right?
Once one of them works.
Once one of them works, I will submit, right? Yes, yeah. I was get too caught up. I'm like, oh man, this looks awesome. And then I play it. I'm like, it don't fucking work. Right? All right, this is not a game. This is a piece of art. Right? All right, whatever. Right?
Nice. And finally, our new department, what is this? More money than sense, we should call it?
Okay, I like it, yeah.
But, so Severed Toys. And so Severed Toys, do you remember the gelatinous cube D6 that I had once upon a time? Yeah, they produced that. So they do good stuff. And they do kitschy, kind of funny role-playing, support, enamel pins and stuff to support their
So again, the stuff you don't actually need.
Yeah, right. But all the stuff that signifies to your peers that you're on the inn.
That you're splashing the cash around?
Now that, yes, exactly. Severed Toys and Stockholm Cartel are working together to produce a line of Mork Borg action figures.
Oh, it's a whole line. Okay.
Yeah, it's various variations on the one character. Yeah, so this is the original character from the cover of the first book. So kind of the Minotaur head.
Yeah, like goat-headed skeleton.
Yeah, right. And so they're doing 4 brand new Dread Risen action figures from the cover of the first book. So 7 inches, fully articulated. So there will be the standard version, the blood-drenched version, the glow-in-the-dark version, and the fully black cursed version. So each of these comes with a zine that has a different cover. I think the contents of the zine are the same, but a zine for MÖRK BORG and a cover specific to these. So I think maybe the cover, if I'm understanding, the cover may even be the backing card or as part of the backing card of the miniature or the action figure itself. And so, the zine was done by the creators of MÖRK BORG, Johan Nohr and Pelle Nielsen, and that's going to set you back a hefty $55. There's different configurations. There's different ways you can buy more and get a bit of a deal. Yeah, that's quite a per inch. It's pretty brutal. So that's a 1/12 scale. But so
if you get 2 of them, you'll have one actual. You'll see how high it is. Yeah,
you have an actual size. But all the figures come with a rusted sword, a sick flail, a battered shield, and then the original zine. And there will be extra swappable heads for a sneering expression, and they will be unlocking further weapons. So the Zweihander and a scroll and many things are coming up to be unlocked. Yes, and so the standard version. It is colored, pretty much like the artwork on the book, and it will deliver D6 damage. Okay. The gore one is, of course, a soaked in gore. Yeah. The glow in the dark one radiates a molded in luminescent plastic and is full of ancient evil power, of course. Okay. And the blacked out variant is exclusive, and they're just going to do 1 run of those, so they'll be the collectible one. So the Skeletal Creed zine is what's included. That lets you summon your own undead with tables and making your own custom figure. Nice. Yes. And so it's a clear shell and backer card standard action figure packaging, but all designed by Johan Nohr. And there's a tray between the tray between the cardboard and the backing that the zine fits in. So
I don't hate the idea. It just kind of seems a bit.
Yeah, it's
extraneous.
Fun. Right? I mean, it's not, I don't know how many people are going to have this extra cash lying around. But this is all done through Backer Kit.
Okay.
So and further things that may be unlocked depending are a femur, a seax, a war pick, a polearm, and a battle axe. Okay. So you're guaranteed at least 3 or more mystery items. Oh, I guess if you go for the Dead Risen weapon pack, there's even more goodies for your little fella to hold. So, it's fun.
It's fun.
So and Severed Toys seems to be they keep kind of supporting, because they're the ones that did the production for the Dead Milkman RPG, or the module that they produced. And so some fun, and that came up, and I'm just like, wow, that's really silly. Wow, that's really expensive. But it's like collector toy stuff. So of course it's good.
$55 for a collectible toy is not a ridiculous price.
And especially with when the really cheaply produced stuff is at that price, and especially if you buy it at secondary market, it's very expensive. But so there's something else I can have on your desk.
Maybe what's in the back of my head is like, if you got an no. Okay. My thought here was, if you've got an action figure made of your thing, are you still indie?
Well, it's an indie. If the price of the figure makes it indie.
No, I forget where I heard it, but like the best description I've ever heard is, does the creator have the ability, if they wanted to pull the product and make it disappear and never be for sale again? If the answer is yes, then you're indie. If the answer is no, because there's all these other people in control of your stuff, then you're not.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's not a bad thought. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I mean, and that's not me saying that Stockholm Cartel is not indie or MÖRK BORG is not indie. It's just like, you guys have made it if you get approached by people wanting to make a action figure of your thing.
Well, that community, I mean, what was the count on itch.io is like 1,000
I don't know,
or something. It's insane, the amount of like supplements and support for MÖRK BORG.
But I mean, that kind of speaks to the creators, like, because they could have said, nope, no third-party license. If you want to use our stuff, you got to pay us, and they have not done that.
Right.
And for all intents and purposes, I don't think they would do that, right?
Yeah.
I would be very surprised if all of a sudden MÖRK BORG went like, nope, no more third-party content, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I think that really lifted them up as far as in popularity for what they were doing. Oh, sorry, and also included. So if you're not into plastic,
okay, I'm not. Yeah,
there's a metal mini that you can get of the same character.
You could just kill someone with that thing, couldn't you? Probably.
Right. Yes, and I think it's probably like 28-30 mil scale, and also a massive exclusive patch, which is done with kind of a.
So you're looking at like jean jacket backpack.
Backpack. Yeah, right, because it's 15 by 10 inches, 15 and a half by 10 inches. Yeah, sword tip to shield, so kind of like a crest of arms. So so that's all available. So just stuff to support. Put on your jean jacket and put on your.
Note to self.
Yes.
Develop a miniatures agnostic war game that gets popular enough to have all this stuff attached to it.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Funny you bring that up because I was actually looking at the stats for Brighthammer going, how could I tweak this for a miniatures agnostic game?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I could, right? But the idea is still percolating in the back of my head.
D100 would be fun. Yeah, there's not because everyone is either going like D6s or D20s. Yeah.
I hate D20s. Right?
Yeah. So, but D100 miniature skirmish. Okay, let's.
Okay, spoilers here. But what I was thinking is, okay, looking at things like Necropolis 28 and whatever, right? There's no misses in that game. So I'd thought about D100 is really just an expanded D10, right? You could just do it in tens. I was thinking almost like an Apocalypse World style. You roll 2d10s and you count the number of dice that roll under your stat. And like 2 is like a fantastic success, 1 is a middling result, and like none is not a great, right?
Right.
I was thinking like no misses, just work mouth, more better results. That's not how it works, right? Because I mean, how many times when we were playing Stargrave or Frostgrave First Edition, we were like, miss. It gets a bit boring. You're like, come on. Just like especially something happened, right? So this one is like, nope, there's no miss. There's just not great result, decent result, and fantastic result. So, all right, I'm going to dig this out now. After I sort through that haul of perler beads you gave me.
Nice. Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that's what... Hutchinson did with Hobgoblin, right?
Okay.
It's you always hit, like you always do something, and it's just how much, because it's
because sure, it's not exactly the same as D20 based games, but like I'm not saying they suck, because sometimes in resource management games, right, like the resource of time or like the resource of you have so many of these special abilities you can use, right? The chance that you could miss and waste your power and then give the opponent a chance to go, especially in like hit point attrition games, it does work. And just sometimes it's really not exciting when you're like miss, right?
Well, and I like that only goes for the casters, for the magic users, but they can put their they can blood magic it and empower themselves. So so the spells can't hit as long as it's not more points than your HP.
which was nice in Frostgrave, right? Kind of burning health to make sure or spending health to make sure you hit.
Right. Yeah. So that sounds fun, especially if you've got if you've got stats that can move between the RPG.
That was what I was keeping. I was like, I got agility, vigor, influence, and wits. I'm like, what the fuck is influence used for? Unless I kind of do something with like resisting magic or influence or stuff like that. Like, and then like fear effects would kind of have to be a big part of the game.
Right.
It can't just be like a dump stat. Like you want all the stats to be,
and that's what Forbidden Psalm useful. Forbidden Psalm does that really well, because I was treating one of the stats as a dump stat. I'm like, oh, that's your range.
That's no, presence is how I shoot a bow, right? Yeah.
God damn it. None of my ranged guys are going to do anything. So good stuff.
Nice.
All right, so that's going to do it for this week. So where can people find you?
On social media, it's Blue Sky, Instagram, and till I find a way to not opt out of the AI thing, right? Facebook a little bit, only because I've set up my Instagram to cross post, but that's Hivemind, HYVEMYND, and it's pixel art stuff and perler beads and the occasional Forbidden Psalm miniature, right? How about you?
Excellent. So I'm trying to do, I think it's moving to a monthly live stream. Because I've had all kinds of, I was sick and I've had some surgery and all kinds of fun stuff. So I've missed a lot.
Oh yeah, you're not wearing your cool glasses.
Yeah, I don't have my cool glasses because I got my bandages off. But so I think I'm going to do next week, June. I'm just going to do all the cartoons for June next Tuesday.
Marathon.
Yes. So I think that'll work out better. I need to use the live stream to produce the cartoons, but it's just my schedule and my health are not cooperating. But Abuse Cartoons on YouTube and Twitch if you want to see that stream. And there's a bunch of them archived if you want to watch me draw previous cartoons. And if you like what we're doing here on the weekly, consider becoming a weekling.
The strongest of all supporters.
At patreon.com/upturntable. And thank you last week, Carolina's suggestion. We now have on our Redbubble store a come for the banter, stay for the ramble, which is exactly the format of our show. It starts with banter, we do some news, and then I'm alone, just suffering and struggling to continue. But that is a link in the description for the Redbubble store. And also Upturned Table, I'll put links to everything on the website as well for what we're doing. We just had we're not going to have Dune this week. We're going to have like a week off and maybe doing something, but it might be recording, not an actual play. Right. But thank you so much. I think this is the worst possible time to take a break with Dune because the numbers keep going up.
Oh, oh no.
Whoops. But so hang in there because we'll be back in just a few weeks with more Dune. So thank you for joining us. And we'll be back again next week.
Later, mortals.
Goodbye. right. So I didn't want to start off the as most live streams and podcasts do, apologizing for my voice, but yeah, I've been down for a few days. Pretty nasty cold. I don't know what that was all about, but yeah, sounds like I'm not up to full voice. So I guess it's good. I'm not gonna be running a game tomorrow with this in this weakened state. So how is everybody doing? It's good to see everybody in the chat. Clarion and Matt, Orcus, Carolina, Miguel. Very cool. How's everyone doing? Yeah, Matt sent me the link to Paramount, and Paramount saying, yeah, no D&D. I know we ordered some episodes, but nah. No thanks. That was pretty funny. Yeah, I don't know what they're thinking. And I think Hasbro, with this idea of bringing everything in-house, I really think they're going to screw that up, because they haven't been able to produce in-house. They haven't produced a decent video game or anything. So I don't think that's possible. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's happening. Oh yeah, so welcome to the the ramble portion of the live stream. Nice. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, Paramount Plus is that they're really doing weird stuff, because they're doing the South Park specials, right? So they were doing the new Star Trek and the South Park specials, and once Netflix dumped new Star Trek, crazy. Oh, Max to do a Dungeon Crawl Classic series, nice. Just watching the 2-hour Luton video on. I like the. There's some really good books, and the themes and stuff. Everyone's got their like heavy-handed opinions, and it's really funny. I think my favorite books in the Horus Heresy are the most controversial, or the ones that people hate the most. But when they do a good job of, in that universe, showing the scale of things and how small your average lineman soldiers are, your infantry are, compared to the Space Marines, compared to this cosmic horror, compared to these these ships that they're traveling on, and then also the process. They don't have hyperspace. They travel through the warp. So the thing where basically your soul can be pulled out of you as your folding space is pretty cool. And I think the fiction is what gets that across better than video games and even their like short films and stuff have done. And because they really don't seem, especially the animation they've done so far, they really don't go for it. Like they'll do blood and guts and whatever, but it's not it doesn't really viscerally get across that setting very well. But the books really do. Nice. Oh yeah. Orcus is talking about the Gotrek and Felix books, which I think they tried to bring back in Age of Sigmar or something. That they're doing. I can't even deal with that. What they're trying to do, but I guess now that Old World is back, all the Old World books can be reprinted. Nice. And Carolina's making chocolate milk. Very good. Yeah, sorry, my voice is going out. Of course, Matt caught me. It's in my experimental jazz ensemble at a performance last night. No, we've had them because of the rainy season. The temperature jumps are like 10 degrees, which is like almost 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and so I've got caught up in something, but and there's all kinds of nastiness going on, because still so many people are masking here in Japan. So I think they're still cooking up some nasty bugs. People have said that the flu and stuff was pretty bad this year. Nice. Matt was saying Warlord Games a few years back about a bunch of games designed for the size of a chewing gum packs at Gen Con. Kind of so. Yeah, that's the problem when you don't have like designers that are really going to go for it. And is this me? Oh, sorry guys. There we go. Designers that are really going to go for it and push against those limitations, when it's just like someone that's I'll have an idea, it'll fit this kind of silly format, but it looks like they're doing the Warlord Games on Button Shy, there's like 10 pages of like 10 or 12 games, or I guess there's a lot of expansions and things too, but they have a huge amount of games. So it's been many people approaching this kind of design challenge from different ways. Yeah, I'd really love to see Chris submit something, because I keep seeing stuff on her social media that looks like it would be perfect. But yeah, as you're saying, it looks good, but it doesn't work, doesn't play. Nice. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting some weird buzzing on my microphone. Orca says, yeah, right. Severed Games did the Dead Milkman themed. Yes. Oh yeah, I got the digital version and then never got Bitchin' Chimera. Was it? Yeah, some funny word play, but it was the thing they always wanted to do, or one of the members always wanted to do. You can play. Yeah, one of the character classes is Punk Rock Girl. And you travel around the world, and all that same thing. Carolina prefers Radiohead. Yeah, Radiohead needs a fantasy module. Nice. Oh, Orcus has the chunky D6s with the Dead Milkman logo. Nice. Very cool. Yeah, you could really do. Yeah, as a soundtrack, OK Computer would be an insane soundtrack if you designed a module or an adventure or whatever, using that as like the theme or the mood setting. That could be pretty intense. Nice. So what else is going on here? Action figures. Oh, Miguel talking about metal figures. Let's talk about New You Must Buy This. Oh yeah, the D&D classic figure boxes. Are they still doing? They're not doing random. They're not doing like blind box stuff. Like what you're getting, right? Yeah. Oh, probably no. Yeah, no. Miguel just said loot boxes to D&D. I really hate that. I guess that's the Whiz Kids or whatever. They do the blind box stuff. I really hate that stuff. So pre-painted miniatures, blind boxes, and you lost me. Several steps before that. And one box is $20. Jeez. Lovely. But it's the classic. It's these must-have classic characters. Yeah, it's really sad that now, obviously, Wizards is just like handing out licenses for use of old artwork for, early, basic expert and early D&D, because you're starting to see that stuff show up in dice towers and card boxes and stuff. So that's not good. Matt was saying I was looking at some old Grenadier D&D minis from the 80s on eBay. So tempting. Yeah, Grenadier. Yeah, I didn't have access to any Citadel miniatures. So the shop that I went to, they carried Ralpartha and Grenadier almost exclusively. So yeah, Grenadier was my thing. Yeah, some of those sets are super nostalgic with the little horizontal boxes with the little 2 layers of foam, the foam cutouts, the blue foam cutouts with your miniatures in there. They did some good stuff back in the day. Yeah, I wish somebody, because nobody really owns those sculpts or anything anymore, right? I wish someone would just scan those. I'm sure somebody has. Scan those old miniatures and make STLs out of them. That would be very cool. Or, there's a lot of people that, can recreate them digitally. Oh, nice. Clarion said, looking forward to some Outgunned. Yeah, we're going to, I think Matt's going to be running some Outgunned adventure. All right. Yeah, you will have to have a Dune conference. Matt said, yeah, the Dune delay is Matt's fault. Running the Outgunned adventure quick start next week because we wanted to do it, while the backer campaign is still active. Yes. Good thinking, Matt. That campaign was insanely successful. That's really funny. And I don't think they know what to do. They're just like, okay, more stretch goals then. Oh, damn. Because they burn through stuff pretty fast. Nice. Yeah, hopefully. And then, right. Oh, Matt is setting it up right now. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, I got to take a look. I haven't even installed, because they sent out the key or whatever for alchemy for the beta for Outgunned, so we should have the character sheets and the dice and everything. Yes, no Terry tomorrow. Yeah. So let's get together and do something tomorrow night. Yeah, that was amazing. So anybody that's been following along, I'm sorry if I spoiled that all up front. I should have skipped to this point. But yeah, Terry really did a really perfect and interesting narrative turn there, because it was so funny how everything was building to this point, and it was like, yeah, it happened. It definitely happened. Oh, wait. And I liked how, and this worked well. I think D20 allows a bit more of this. It's like, well, wait a minute. I'm security. This is our ship. I would definitely be able to open that door. Like, yes, you would. Yeah, Terry did a great job of coming to the rescue, being the knight in shining Abacoster armor. Yes. Yeah, so we'll do some adventure. Yeah, it should be fun. Yeah, I can't wait to see and how they that's the thing I really want to look at for Outgunned in general, is how they structure Chris has got the books now, but I wanted to look at the how they structure the adventures and how difficult it would be to make our own, because I've got a few really fun ideas that I think would work well with Outgunned. And yeah, that's right. When we're getting with this new campaign, we're getting the assistant director, kind of the a guide or like support for running games and creating your own games as well. Yeah, that was so good. That was so good that Terry went in there. I'm like, oh, there's just no way. Okay, this would have to be almost the most impossible, like not the super impossible difficulty, but like just one less, because Tars was in there pretty quickly, and so we'll do that, the desperate, I think, level of difficulty, and with the help of the doctor. Tars was able to but it's going to make things really interesting, because we'll kind of discuss, and maybe we'll actually we can kind of roll for some of the things on how the house progresses and the decisions that are made, and decide if we want to jump it up or if we want to just pick up from where we were. So if it's going to be 10 years later back on the moon, or if we're going to actually come down with a comatose Eris. Yeah, some decisions to be made, but yeah, really good stuff. It's been very, very enjoyable. Yeah. And it's fun. So what I've been doing with Dune is using some resources from published adventures and things that people have structured, and I've been grabbing like character names and some stats for NPCs and supporting characters, just to make it easier to put things together, but trying to do like a bigger overall sandbox that like things happen and they can choose to go after it or not go after it. And I'm wondering, in some of the situations, I don't emphasize enough, or I was worried that I didn't emphasize enough. Like, you don't have to, you can always send troops. You can always send, like, you can always do this, tactical view of what's going on, and just roll and send your liaisons, your diplomats, your soldiers, to handle situations, or your spies, to handle situations. But it was great that I didn't want to feel like I was railroading the characters, but I got them on Giddy Prime pretty easily, and I was really surprised. It's like, wow, I didn't think that was going to happen. But yeah, very funny. It's going to be crazy. Yeah, now that, if we jump ahead, then I think it would be very easy to jump the status of House Abacoster up to a major house, and they would still be below a great house, so they could still have the association with Atreides. But then if they're in Canley with Harkonnen, it could be very interesting. Yeah, I'm just gonna stick with interesting. Yeah, and that's the thing. That was the other thing too, that I realized that I completely, so kind of getting in your head how they want you to use the system. Like, for example, when you guys, not the last session, but the previous session, 2 sessions ago, when you were negotiating with the CHOAM representative, was that? Yeah, with the CHOAM representative, I forgot, like, move an asset means move any asset. So the asset that was created to help you win communicate roles against the CHOAM director, that could have moved as well. Like, everything is mobile. Like, everything can story-wise be. So I should have, like, of course, been aware of that, because anything that's called an asset or anything that's called a trait has those specific mechanics that it can be moved. And if it's especially if it's an intangible thing, it can just be kind of recreated or revised. So yeah, very, very interesting. No, I didn't. Yeah, that was the thing, because I tried to create enough stuff for them to look at. Like, there was some bodies, some dead fishermen, some, the spy was missing. The spice smuggler was missing. I tried to give enough stuff that was happening on the moon that they were just gonna be like, okay, let's see where this goes. We'll just let her go and see what she comes back with. And so I was expecting to just have them kind of wait for her return and kind of complicate things for them waiting for their return, but they went straight after her. I'm like, oh shit, they're on the Highliner. Okay, well, yeah. And especially because we did the after the Great Breaching, we kind of did their finances, so now they know how much money they have, and we can book passage to Cutie Prime. Yeah, so I didn't expect that to happen. I left it open to whatever they wanted to do, but I was really surprised. Like, oh shit, we're going there. We're at least going to, there's going to be some conflict at least on the ships on the Highliner, and maybe an attempt to get her back. So yeah, it was very fun. Nice. Well, Orcus, thanks for joining us. Sorry about my voice. But graduation tomorrow. That's right. It 'tis the season. Yes. Well, enjoy that. Those were his big liberating moments for the graduates. And thanks as always for dropping by, Orcus. Appreciate your support as always. But yes, so Dune is not. I think it's just getting more fun, more complicated. Matt is saying, honestly, Jack was going to give her an out and just kill the Harkonnen kid, but oh, nice. Oh, you got convinced otherwise by that was good. I liked the back and forth between the two of you, because you were both scheming, and both you have kind of ambition that can be in sync, or it can be kind of counter. So yeah, I think you and Cal had a real interesting discussion, like, especially so when you're removing the any sort of recording devices, and had the on the ship, and then had the conversation. No, I thought that was good. Yeah, that would be and then even after that, it would have been interesting to see Tarza's reaction, to Jack making such a big move. But good stuff. Really good stuff. Yeah, and that's the I've heard people complain about the 2D20 system, saying it's too squishy, and they want especially I think in terms of Star Trek, they want things to be more clear and exact. But I think for storytelling and for drama, I think it works really well. It's sometimes we've remained pretty disengaged with this when you guys have to make a lot of decisions, and it's not your decisions are just what you're going to do. It's not something you have to, it's not a challenge or something that has something you have to overcome. When you're just making narrative decisions, we're not engaged with the mechanics. But as soon as we get into those situations, like saving a life or convincing, the negotiation with CHOAM and things, I think it's really nice that it does both of those things. it gets out of the way, and you can also engage in it pretty deeply in that kind of abstract way that it does. But yes. Nice. Yeah, I think so. Because I was really convinced just from the read through and then that the quick start that we played for Star Trek. I at the time, and this was before Dune, at the time I was convinced, yeah, this is a good 2d20, but you can obviously tell it wasn't quite there either, because they've already, in the second edition of Star Trek, they've already gotten rid of the d6s, so the challenge dice are gone, and I think it's nice how it's streamlined, and I think John Carter would do well to lose the d6s as well. Yeah, I think and I wasn't. That was the thing. After playing Star Trek, we did a session of John Carter, a session of Star Trek, and then I read the Dune rules, and it was during the campaign. It was an early version, and I was like, this is really abstract, and I didn't think it worked particularly well, and it was different then too as well. In the kind of beta that we played with Dune, that we played in the that little Dune adventure where you're the forward party for the Atreides. I didn't think that worked well. I did like, though, going back to this, because I remembered those characters from running that thing. So when you guys were sorting through your household staff, those were the same characters and their same weird interactions from that first adventure. So it was fun to get them back in the mix. Yeah, no, I think that works well, and the fact that you can just step back and you can say, wait a minute, I could, as an individual, I can't influence this, but as our house has the ability to do something about this. Yeah, I think that's very very good. Yes, and I really want to see what they do with Star Trek. I took a look at the free quick start that they released for the second edition and saw kind of the things how they streamlined it a little bit. I'm not sure if that's going to make people happy or not, because it's going to it's going to abstract it a little bit more, and maybe with New Trek, I mean, and that's the thing, because the cover looks more like New Trek. Maybe with New Trek, people will just go back to the FASA or whatever the old D20 Star Trek is if they don't want to get into this. But I think if you're going to play New Trek, I bet the 2D20 will work. Nice. Yes. That's right. Yeah, Jack's coming back hard, and he's gonna. All right, I'm gonna crack down on this. Open a human resources department and get the performance reviews going. Yeah, now that you have, and maybe raising your status, so you'll actually be able to increase security, you can even have a standing army once you become a major house, because you'll have significant holdings then. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm sticking with that word, but yeah, you definitely have to get through that staff. I still have all the NPC art, so we can go through all of them. But that might be another interesting kind of intrigue, because you've already brought in a couple of the staff to kind of be the supporting, to be assets, to be like supporting characters. So yeah, that might be an interesting to go through as well when the things kind of change. But yeah. So let's get together on Discord tomorrow there, Matt, and around our usual time, and see what we can do. I'm gonna experiment with recording on Discord, but also doing the recording locally. Kind of use a streaming service and or streaming software, and screen sharing. So we'll look at the PDF and discuss, and record it locally and see if that works for reviews, because that would be really cool. Because I like, I more enjoyed on the old podcast when there was when 3 people reviewed something because it was enough of a someone always had a differing opinion. Someone always said, I like this, I hate this. There's always an interesting we're talking about specific mechanics and stuff. So when it's just a single reviewer, it's either you agree or disagree with them, or you're just listening to them for information. And there's a lot of reviewers that I don't like to listen to because I think their opinions are terrible, but they do give you a very workman like overview of the rules or what the game is trying to do. But I really enjoyed the deeper discussions like we did for Forbidden Lands and Star Trek, and a lot when there's I guess that was Star Trek was only 2, but 3 people reviews I think work nicely. So let's get it. Yes, got to get that second moon in there. Yeah, there's definitely, I think now with your kind of increased standing, I think your position with House Atreides changes as well. So we can talk about what that does, what effect that has. 2 moons. We got to figure out how many moons you've got circling that dead iron planet. Nice. Yeah, this might be a good time too to kind of collect. Maybe I'll do that on the Upturn Table page, like do a Dune, not like really a wiki, but just kind of the story so far and kind of the lore and setting that we've kind of come up with. I just like I did in that Google Doc for the players. Hey, Abyss, how's it going? Yes, the ambassador. Yes, Jack may have to keep the ambassador in mind. Good to see you, Abyss. But yeah, that's right. There's a lot of people in play still. And you interacted with some Harkonnen and not so much the guild, but definitely Chom. You've had a raising kind of status with Chom, and maybe a little bit of a frustrated director, but who knows how long she's going to be in her position after that horrible failure. Yeah, it's really fun. What you guys have come up with for Dune. Yeah, nothing that I expected. I'm just trying to like lay stuff out and watch where the players go. Oh man, and none of them wanted to see their futures. I'm really surprised. They've got that. They got that kid in the Spacing Guild, and nobody's reached out. So not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow, some outgunned adventure. So some temple raiding and chase mechanics and all kinds of good stuff. Oh yeah, the Gula just came from a tiny little line, and when I was first putting the world together, I wrote down in my notes, like it was almost like the second line, the Duke comes back as a Gula because there was in their NPCs at the back of the core rulebook, they give you suggestions. They'll give you like a name and a suggestion, like a story hook for how to include an NPC, that's a Mentat, that's a Bene Gesserit, and they give you different, they stat out kind of supporting characters or NPCs that you can use. And there was just a line, this guy that like gives a Gula as a gift. And I was like, okay, we've got to get Gula back in here. And because we have the mystery of the Duke, that's definitely the Gula. And like, who brings that? Why would that happen? And so I just I had that in my head the whole time. I'm just kind of waiting for things to kind of point me in a direction. And as soon as it was like, okay, we have this big distraction for an event, and nothing's happened with Cinti. Like she's just been smiling and sitting there and just kind of like nodding at Jack. So I'm like, okay, I think I know where this Gula's coming from. Nice. Uh-oh. That chocolate milk knocked out Carolina. Oh, that sounds good. I haven't had a nighttime and warm chocolate milk at night recently. Oh man. Yeah, it was just like one of those things that, because I made a bunch of notes, and there's still some things, some little story hooks and things that I just jotted down, like, okay, this, and this. And we still have a lot of unraveling, like mystery to unravel, and I think that will be much more interesting if to solve the murder of the Duke and Jack's parents and Cinti's parents. Now with a increased, like a more powerful House Abacoster, I think then you'll have the means to actually go about punishing the guilty. Nice. Oh, cool. Yeah. I wanted to. I didn't get a chance to go back to Hate and see how they depicted the Gula as far as. But he was also Mentat, right? He was like Hate was trained as a Mentat, so I think much more intellectual. And I thought having now also that Cinti is kind of taken out or diminished. It'll be interesting. She'll have like a slowly restoring Duke, or the memory banks of the Duke, and then and I think there's something interesting too, and I'll run this by the players, but I think there's something very interesting if House Abacoster gains in status, but both the Duchess is taken ill, or just mentally has lost it, has just kind of buried herself in her faith, and is just constantly praying to herself and just mumbling, and Cinti is not really capable. So you'll have these two, and I've got to think of a good term for that, or how House Abacoster is regarded. And so Jack has to kind of step up and be the ruler, he's the steward sitting on the throne and doing the daily work, while he has these two, very diminished women that are the two in line that are actually should be the rulers of the house, but they have to just kind of physically be there. There's something, I think, fun image wise with that too, if we keep Cinti not back to herself. Regent Jack. So you can be the Theoden. Abacoster needs no Duke. Yes, Regent Jack. Nice. Yeah, so that'll be fun. Oh, Mentat and Swordmaster. Yeah. So super dangerous. That's right. Yeah, I'll get the audiobooks on my Audible. I'll go back through it. Am I still buzzing? Yeah, sorry. I think my keep hearing a little bit of line noise. Hopefully I can get that out in the podcast. Oh yeah. Oh the original six Dune. Yeah, I really enjoyed the first three. But yeah, then it gets really wacky, and there's the time jump as well. It gets pretty wacky. Yeah, I can see why Jodorowsky said, "Yeah, there we go. That's the series for me." And he probably just wanted to jump straight to Chapter House too. But we'll see. Yeah, but if Jack spends too much time in his holdings on Arrakis, you never know if those sand, what do they call them, the baby sandworms? He ends up in too much contact, maybe gets bitten. Then we have this sandworm Duke of House Abacoster. Yeah, that'll be that'd be a fun thing too. Is how that complicates, if having that holding on Arrakis complicates things, or you just kind of put that in the hands of others and just reap the profit of it, or if you're going to have more interaction, because there's a ton of stuff, of course, written for interacting with Fremen and all kinds of things on Arrakis, because that's of course where the game wants to set you. But interested in what you guys decide to do. How much you're going to visit your visit your holdings. Nice. Yeah, that's going to be Matt's character. Sitting on a throne he doesn't deserve. Yeah, that'll be funny. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff, and I think Dune. I think it's been fun without being too soap opera-y, without it being silly drama or anything. I think we've made some nice changes already to the setting and to how everything was originally, how House Abacoster was originally established. Yes, men of quality. Yes, that's right. That's going to be the assessment for the house staff. That'll be the ad in the paper. House Abacoster seeks men of quality and hobbits to sing in their halls. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, it's the views too have live viewers for Dune have been going up and up each time. Twitch is getting about equal to YouTube. So yeah, we can't we can't walk away from Dune if people are actually getting interested. And I'm sure this 2-week break is going to totally blow it. But we'll try. Eating cherry tomatoes as grossly as possible. We're gonna have to get some new art for Jack. Bedraggled, just sitting in robes, scowling, like looking from under his brows and scowling at everyone. Yeah, that was a really good portrayal. I like that actor a lot. I think he did a really good job of being sinister. And the scenes that they cut out, the scenes that they put in the extended edition to kind of fill in, Boromir, like how his father saw him, and more it was his role in Gondor in the film. That was good. Oh yeah, Carolina, I agree. Yeah, is that Pippin's song? Yeah, that was brutal. The Faramir's charge and that song, oof, yeah, that was really good. And I like how it didn't. It showed you like them charging into a completely the bows drawing back and them just this fruitless or like impossible charge, and then it just cut to Faramir being dragged back in. Yes, yeah, that's right. That's the same actor from Fringe. Yeah. He was good in that too. That show didn't hold together very well, did it? It got weird because didn't they start putting like other dimension versions of the characters into the story? But I liked his character in that as well. That's so great. I mean, the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings had such a great casting. Like they really got lucky. And some of the casting that didn't happen, like the change to Viggo Mortensen for Aragorn, I think all that stuff really worked in their favor. Casting was so good. Yeah, crazy. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right. Speaking of casting, speaking of Lord of the Rings, that's right. That's the big news. Yeah, there's some things that I when I look at them and try to I think that'll probably be in the ramble section, because as a headline, and I don't know like how engaged Chris is with a lot of like Tolkien media and stuff. So yeah, there will be a Tom Bombadil in Rings of Power. Nice. I think they did that just for Miguel's sake. It's just a what the hell? And I think they're just doing it. It makes me think that their discussions are, well, Peter Jackson didn't do it, so we can do it, and that'll make us better, right? That'll make us somehow better. That'll give us an edge. That'll give us an advantage. And it's just going to be so poorly handled. I don't even know where they're going with any of that. Yeah, and speaking of casting, I mean, looking at the at casting between, and it's a feature films, of course, it's different scale of actor, but I don't think financially, I don't think Amazon, I mean, I'm sure they pay a lot less, but they could get the level of actors that the Lord of the Rings movies had, or at least a few, and they got zero. I don't know where they're casting from, but oof, yeah, that's a real. I don't like any of those characters. Like, I don't like any of those actors in any of those roles in Rings of Power. There's nobody that, like, particularly stands out. Yeah, I think you're right, Matt. Yeah, it's just they just have a bunch of post-its on a dartboard. They're just like, oh, I got Tom Bombadil, so he's going in. Oh, and the Balrog is making his appearance. He'll be guest starring. Yes, Carolina, you're right. That's supposed to be weird. It was called Fringe. That's true. The show was called Fringe. Yeah, I guess it had to go there. Yeah, I don't know if I ever got completely to the end, because that was on Japanese television. Like, I watched a lot of random stuff when it would just be showing up on Japanese cable, because there was and this is like pre-streaming. That's how long I've been here. Pre-streaming, they had a cable channel that licensed a lot of the Fox and American TV dramas, because 24 was really popular here. 24 and Prison Break for some reason, and then ER and Friends. Those were the most popular American TV shows in Japan. Hard to understand exactly why, but yeah, they had Fringe on that same channel. Yeah, right. And Matt says maybe Embracer and Warner Brothers can team up and sue Amazon to make them stop. Please just stop. Yeah, or just have the Tolkien estate. Just give them back $500 million and tell them it's okay. You don't have to keep destroying the property. Yeah, it's really, it's going to be so strange, and maybe it won't even matter. Like, media and the way we access it and everything is going to change so much. But it's so weird now that we have so many movies with identical names that are remakes and reboots, and so so many films have to have the year they were released in parentheses after them, or you have no idea. If you just say Ghostbusters, do you mean the 2016 Ghostbusters, or do you mean the 87 or whatever? So there's not it's not clear what we were even talking about anymore. And I'm really surprised. This is not fantasy or tabletop related, but I'm really surprised how many people are saying, wow, that Fall Guy movie, I wish that would have done better. That looked pretty fun. And totally oblivious that it was like directly based, like there was no like Lee Majors cameo or whatever, but that was based on an 80s TV show about a stuntman, and nobody like got that. Like, all the reviewers and stuff are saying, this original property, see, people complain everything's a sequel, and then this original property comes out and everybody ignores it. Like, it's not an original property. They actually paid money to probably use that name, and the character's name the same. I think the main character has the same name as Lee Majors did. But yeah, it's weird. And that was the other thing too. There was some post by one of the D&D YouTubers that commented on Warduke on the front of the Dungeon Master's Guide or whatever. They released the basic the standard art for that, and it's got Venger and a bunch of the stupid D&D animation and kind of toy characters, and he said, oh, looky there, and called him Deathbringer, I guess from the Frazetta art, I don't know. And so there's like this, we're getting to this point where there's this weird generational gap, this pop culture gap, because I know like my kids, so people in their, probably millennials, have not direct access or direct experience of a lot of media. It's only through memes and things. So they know SpongeBob very well because of how memed that character is. That's probably a bad example, but there's a lot of stuff they don't have any direct experience of. So we're getting to this point where they're at the edge, like companies that are trying to, like, things that were 50 years ago. There are not anybody that's doing that's on YouTube or anything that's going to have much to say about it because they don't have that experience. They're just seeing it filtered down. Just like people talking about Star Wars they grew up with the prequels, and so yeah, they have an attachment to it, but it's totally different. The Ghostbusters cartoon, the only children's cartoon with Cthulhu episode. Oh, the real Ghostbusters, like the Ghostbusters. Oh, I didn't. They had a Cthulhu episode. Nice. I know, not even close. Yeah, I was really surprised by that, but that was just like a little. It was a tweet or something. But I was really surprised. I'm like, oof, yeah. You should know they don't own that character. Yeah, that's what they're talking about, because for some reason Tom Bombadil is visiting some desolate land, and any desolate land is basically Los Angeles. So yeah, Abyss is making a good point. Give him a LA dialect. Yeah, it's gonna be very weird. Yeah, Ghostbusters. Sorry. Oh, is it California? Well, you gotta. Southern California is just this odd shade of brown that is unmistakable. You recognize that from all that '70s television. Like I realized, like every car chase I watched that wasn't, that was in like Topanga Canyon or whatever. It's like, yeah, you've seen the same scrub brush and dirt, like dusty roads over and over again from my childhood, and it's all California. Nice. Yeah, that's funny. So yeah, it's that was kind of interesting. Those two things happening, where the people that are doing like media criticism and stuff are, yeah, they have very secondhand exposure to a lot of stuff, and I don't think people go back and watch original films or things that inspired. They watch the stuff that inspired. Because who was saying that? Somebody was just saying that recently. George Miller was saying when they told him, like, his in Japan, the Mad Max character is seen as a Ronin. He's seen as this samurai kind of character, and they're like, so you must have watched a lot of Kurosawa. And George Miller said, I've never seen a Kurosawa movie before. And then so he, kind of dedicated himself to watching a lot, and realized that there was a lot of archetypes and character types that matched, what he was trying to do. And so it was basically like an interview with him talking about the media influencing things and how these same images keep recurring, and we keep kind of translating these iconic images because they're so so evocative, and they work well. And yeah, so that was funny. He'd never seen a Kurosawa film, and Japan was like, you must be well versed in Kurosawa, because look at this shot and look at this shot. This is straight from Kurosawa. Abyss wants to have a chai latte with Matt. Yeah, I'm getting surprised how many girls call each other dude now. There's a lot of couples. There's a lot of like lesbian couples that I've seen that they're both calling each other dude all the time. This is really weird. It's just me feeling old, I guess. All that funny stuff. It's all making me laugh, or just making me feel old. One of those things. Cool. Well, yeah. So tomorrow we're gonna record something. We'll see what we end up with. Okay, that's what it is then. Dude and guys are non-gendered. I see. Yeah, that was a thing for a while online, wasn't it? Like, you can't say guys. Don't say guys. But yeah, non-gendered, whatever. They're not. Those aren't pronouns. What are they? They're slang. That's right, because that's when everyone was going y'all and folks and stuff, because they were trying to get away from the gender of dude and guys. But not California. They got it figured out. Do that. All right. Well, good. So yeah, that's cool, Matt. I'm glad you're already putting together the outgunned stuff. I can't wait to give that a shot. So yeah, in a week we'll be doing that, and then tomorrow we'll record something fun, and it'll be kind of experimental version of a long form something. If I can get it to work, if technically it works. Otherwise, it's just going to be audio. So we can release just audio. But I guess then too, it wouldn't be hard to move to the correct page of a PDF during a discussion. It won't take all of my abilities with Premiere. All right. But yeah, so thanks everyone for watching. It's been fun as always. And yeah, so thank you to all the patrons and members. And your support means a lot. And this, of course, goes on the RSS feed for the Patreon RSS. And I still have to figure out if there's a way to do that. I guess, yeah, technically there kind of is, because I think it's not exclusive to members, but you can listen to this as audio through YouTube Music now, because YouTube Music is now the place for all podcasts that are Google, that you're sending to Google. So Google Podcasts is gone. So yeah, this is on YouTube Music as well as a podcast. So take a look for the weekly live, and that will be it. And then the weekly podcast is the edited, kind of cleaned up version that goes up there as well. So thank you so much. And nice. Oh yeah. Oh, right, yeah. End of June, yeah, we'll do a panel show, and this will be a good test. What we do tomorrow will be a good test for if we can, how well we can record. Record a stream. So that sounds good. Yeah, thanks for getting that together, Matt. Old Nerdy Men Yelling at Clouds, Volume 2. So take care, everyone, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.